Oh, so I'm Asaya, and today at Lexie's Kitchen, we're doing part two of our Gimbap tutorial, or dish, or whatever you want to call it. So this time we're doing it with the seaweed. So this is the seaweed that you can get. So if you go to your local H Mart or Japanese restaurant store, like Misua, that's in New Jersey, also San Francisco, and a bunch of other places, you can get your seaweed. So in Japanese it's nori. Here it just says roasted seaweed, and I don't know what that is. I don't speak Hangul. So, but that's what we have. So that's what we're using today, and that is how you originally make your gimbap with with the seaweed. But what goes into it kind of stays the same. So I didn't use rice again today. I did use a mixture though of cauliflower rice and that five miracle rice. That's what that rice was called that I used yesterday. It was called miracle rice. They also make miracle noodle. They also make a mixture of miracle rice. It's called I Love My Rice, and it has a mixture of the miracle rice and regular rice. So you can get a bunch of different options if you want, but you have different options if you want to try different ways of stuffing it as well as rice. So basically, it's the same thing. You're going to have your seaweed wrap. You have your sushi wrap, your seaweed wrap. The same ingredients. The pickled radish. We're still using the barbecue vegan meat. We're still using the kimchi collard greens, and also we're going to use some carrots, some multicolored carrots. If you could find a multicolored carrot sticks, and maybe you want to do your own pickle, you can do that if you want to add that to it. I happen to do it crunchy this time. But like I said, it's the same kind of thing. So you take the rice and you smooth the rice over it. Now this should stick much, much better because of the seaweed. And you don't have to worry about seaweed tends to have that nice sticky thing. But you don't want to put it, when you do it on the seaweed, you don't want to do it too close to the edges. You want to leave like a little border around the edges. If you ever notice when you do sushi, you kind of leave a little border. And with the gimbap, it's the same thing, okay? But you do want to make sure you fill it up. Then when you do that, you still add your ingredients. So we still have our burdock root here. We still have our vegan barbecue, Korean barbecue. We still have our kimchi, and we still sprinkle some carrots. Now the only thing we're not doing this time versus what we did last time is we're not using the farike. We don't have to, because this already has the seaweed in it. So you don't need that extra seaweed taste unless you want it. And then what we proceed to do is we wrap. So then now it's going to be really important to have the bamboo wrap, because you want to make sure that you can wrap this good and tight. Good and tight. It's still going to be maybe a little messy, but you still want to wrap it good and tight. And I will be the first to say, when it comes to wrapping sushi, I am not the best, but I do my best that I can. I'm still learning how to wrap sushi really well. But at the end of the day, even with all of this, it's still kind of wrapped. Now it's a little bit harder, and it's still kind of, but it's not falling apart even though it came out. So that's one of the reasons why you always need to kind of guard against overstuffing, because when you overstuff, that's when you can have a harder time wrapping. Also, another thing that you can do that I normally would do is maybe put a layer of plastic wrap, especially if you're going to do an inside out, like if you do an inside out sushi roll, which is the seaweed on the inside and the rice is on the outside, then we'll use a plastic wrap. And I probably will show you that when I do a sushi one. You use a plastic wrap, and when you spread the rice, you turn it over, put on plastic wrap, and then you roll. But we will show that. And then it's the same also when it comes to cutting. So you want to cut it. Usually when you cut sushi, you cut it, kind of seesaw it down. This ain't the best now. Let's do this one. You want to seesaw it down the middle. Then you bring it together. And then you just cut. Seesaw it down the middle. Now this is going to look way more better. It probably look better if the bowl was a little tighter, but I'll try to tighten it again. This one is going to look a bit more better. Oh, I thought it would look a bit more better, but it didn't. Okay, see, I don't know. It must be me. I told you, sushi type. Oh, okay. We're going to do this one more time. Because it didn't come out the way we wanted. Pass your bowl. For some reason, when I did it.
This one?
Yeah, it didn't come out as tight, and I think it's the knife I use. That's another thing that's important.
Where's your other knife?
In there. Look for the serrated knife.
Look.
That's another thing that's important is to get the right knife that's sharp. Because if you don't get a right knife that's sharp, you can have a problem.
Which one?
Like I just did. This one. We're going to use the good knife. This was not the good knife. So we can also make this into a bowl. So there is a thing that's a sushi bowl, so you can make it a Gimbap bowl. That's how we do it.
You want me to taste?
But she can taste the ingredients. How my resident taster is here, Delina. She can taste it again.
Yes, excuse me. I'm just so hot today.
So we will give you the fork. Give it a taste test.
And I love a bowl.
And we're going to try to wrap this again. I told you wrapping is not my strong suit. I am still working on it, but I will get it. I swear to you. Okay, so we're going to go with the rice again. This time I'm just going to I got the rest of the rice. So that's with the cauliflower rice. So how do you like that one? You like it a little better? You like it a little worse? How do you think?
Okay, the difference between the one that she did yesterday and this one has more of a tartier taste, and the other one had more of a sweeter taste. So it just depends on, it just depends on what your taste bud is. So if you want more of a tarty one, then you need to do the one that Alexis is doing today. If you want more of a sweeter and more pickly taste, then I will do the one that she did last night. But they're both good. They're both good. Did that help y'all? I hope that helped y'all. I am going to go get ready.
So we're going to try this wrap one more time. Thank you, Delina. Aha! Better wrapping. Better wrapping this time. Yay. Now we're going to cut. Still, you cut it the same way. You want to make sure you cut it the same way. See how difference when you have a sharp knife makes? Look at that. Look at that. Now that's a beautiful cut. That's a beautiful cut. Right? Then you put it together. See? You be thinking, oh, I could use any old thing. But you know what? You cannot. So when you see them having them really good sharp knives, there's a reason. Because it makes a difference in how your stuff comes out. Okay? So this is my little water. Now, normally, especially when you do the Japanese one, you have a little bit of like rice vinegar water, and that really helps get all that gunk off your fingers. Especially when you're dealing with rice and the rice is kind of sticky, having that little side bowl of vinegar water really helps stick that rice out. Okay, now we're going to plate. This looks so much better. So much better. So when you wrapping, you want to make sure your wrap is good and tight. That when you cut, your knife is good and tight. Now I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to do this again, but I'm showing you how it looks a little bit. And of course, I even do this with my sushi. I have that little bit of stuff that's out. We eat it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take a bite. Really good. Also, the difference is too that the collard made a difference because you have more of a crunchiness to the collard, where the seaweed kind of don't have that crunchiness. So that's another thing that's kind of different. The collard doesn't break down like the seaweed does with all the juices from the pickle and the rice and everything. The seaweed kind of breaks down to a bit more melty, in your mouth, whereas here it's not. So here we go. This is our Gimbap with our seaweed. So take a course. When you ever see, there are some places, and now that it's opening up, you may see it. Take a sushi course, because that sushi wrapping is going to come in handy with a lot of different stuff, like it did today. So it came in handy with rolling the Gimbap. It's going to come in handy when we do the sushi. So getting to know this and getting to do this is awesome, and it's always good to know other people's culture, other people's food, because it's good to know. It's good to be able to enjoy other places. Maybe you can't get there, but you can definitely get to their food, especially if you're in like New York. Even here in Atlanta, there's a lot of Korean places that you can get food. Korean shops, you have Vietnamese, you have Thailand, you have all this around us. You have Ethiopian shops. So come in. Even if you can't go around the world, let's say in a plane, you can definitely go around the world in food. So with that, I want to thank you, which is 감사합니다 in Korean, and say goodbye. 안녕. Bye. I swear.